When I started there in 92 or so in the planning department, I think that there was 5 of us. I was the 5th one, and now there's probably over 30. He's been a great support for the tribal members who work in our department. He's made sure that they've gotten off the training, that they have a chance to advance and to take on additional responsibilities in the planning. And we don't always see that. We don't always see that in the community. But he gave us every opportunity as tribal members of working for our own people, for our own tribe, to become better at what we do and be more confident in ourselves.
Charlie has been so instrumental as a boss in so many ways for me and as for many other people in the department. I would never have gone on to graduate school if it hadn't been for Charlie. That's the fact of it. I got out of my undergrad. I was happy to work at Swinomish. It was a fun place to work. But Charlie said, you should go back. You know, it's good for you. It's good for the tribe. It's good for the tribe to have someone with a higher degree in the planning office. And because of him, I did go back. And, you know, Swinomish was very supportive, and I'm much appreciative of that. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Charlie. So.
But Charlie's always been there for me, you know. Even when, you know, I've issued violations or done things or told people no, and they've come and said, you know, whatever to Charlie. Charlie's always backed me, and in fact, Charlie's always had a great ability to sort of give you as much rope as you want to hang yourself. So, luckily, I've managed to survive that, but I've certainly appreciated the amount of freedom that I've had during the time I've been here at Swinomish.
It's been great working for you, Charlie, and getting to know your family, and I just wish you the best.
And one thing I noticed early on is that when Charlie spoke, people really did listen. And he didn't speak a lot, but when he spoke, he had something important to say. And I learned to listen at that time too, and it's been a great honor working with Charlie. I think that he really has his heart in the right places for doing good things. He's great with people, and I'll definitely miss working with him.
I think you know, he's Irish. Did you guys know that? So I Googled Charlie O'Hara, and this is what came up. Impassioned, ardent, fervent, heartfelt, spirited, cantankerous. I don't know, did I tell you that he's Irish? Cantankerous. Knowledgeable, intelligent, intense, vehement, energetic, determined, believer, generous, one with mettle, M-E-T-T-L-E, animated, dauntless, fearless. All of those Irish traits Charlie's brought with him, but the beautiful thing about Charlie is he knows how to bring the Irish to help the native people.
I think, though, we need to give Liz O'Hara some recognition. Liz, how long have you been married to Charlie?
About 45 years.
Wow! 45 years. So those of us here who have known Charlie for maybe the last 15 and know how Charlie is and can be, Liz, God bless you. God bless you.
As a trial member and a staff member, I can say that his management style is different from what I would usually expect from tribal people. But it's been great. He always knew if you had any problems or any questions that was a little bit outside your realm. He knew he had, you know, a wealth of knowledge and a wealth of information that you come to, and whether it's, you know, not bad news or bad news that you need help with, it was always great to help out with those things.
So, we came here 14 years ago. What Charlie's done in 14 years for the staff in the planning department is truly amazing. Not only did he not have tons of issues that he needed to come to me about, he was able to mold and develop a department that is now, bar none, the best planning department, I think, in the state and maybe much farther. And that's, I think, his biggest legacy, is the human beings that he leaves, that he was with, mentored, trained, and it is certainly a fine balance between how much rope you give them, like Scott said. You want to give them enough so that they learn on their own. They don't want to just be modeling and replicating they want to have real life experiences. And I think Charlie was able to provide the leadership and develop them as human beings as well as officials in the planning department.
And back then, I remember sitting around tables out here, holding meetings with Robert Joe, with Nick, Alan, John. So it was a few years ago. And back then we accomplished a lot. And the reason we got together was to think about how we can live in harmony and how we can be sustainable and how we can take care of this place and how we can leave it for others in a better shape than what we found it. And those were really strong principles back then, and goals and ideas. And it was a few years later that Charlie came, and I got to meet Charlie, and he picked up the baton and carried it forward. And I'm happy to say that we do have a good working relationship, and Charlie has carried that baton forward.
That love of the land is something I want to thank Charlie for. And we'd like to offer you a gift, a picture book about Cookatali Preserve, just to remember the island by and our wonderful moments that we had.
Charlie helped when we were working with the Coast Salish. I'll describe it this way. We were on our canoe. We're doing extra effort on our canoe. We're bucking tide. For a long time we're bucking tide. All of a sudden there's a few people from the different nations. Charlie was one of them. Every once in a while some special people showed up and the tide started to go with us. Charlie, your efforts made it easier for us. So I want to say thank you. Thank you so much. Charlie gave me, I really have a prestigious moment in my life when the Coast Salish won the Harvard Award. The Coast Salish won the Harvard Award. And my mother, she knows my mother, let us use 2 jackets. And Charlie and Brian and I, Charlie, we took all the accolades, prestigious award that was given, and we know where the work came from. So I want to say thank you, Charlie, for all that.
Charlie gives you a very logical, a different perspective on things, a different angle to look at a problem and to find a different solution. He doesn't necessarily tell you the solution. He lets you kind of figure it out for yourself, but he provides you with this sort of out-of-the-box perspective on things. And I really appreciated that about him, because sometimes you come across some problems and people get stuck on this one path, and Charlie's going, well, wait a minute, what about, this other way? And I think that was very important. It's always been very helpful for me anyway to kind of formulate a decision or a solution for any particular thing. So that's just one thing that I take away from working with Charlie over the years, and I really appreciate that, and I'm going to miss that.
And what I'm really thankful for is you promoting your staff, encouraging them to continue on as like what they say, higher education, or the knowledge and all of the work that you have done. You've given us a lot of expertise in your department.
I took care of not only us here, but the ones on the other side, the ones in our that was destroyed by the city out there when they dug up the street. Charlie told us how to get it fixed and how to take care of it. And I'm glad he stuck with us as long as he did. It was hard work, but Charlie was there for us all the time. Thank you for teaching your staff. I hope they carry on what you left for them, and you'll always be in their hearts.
But you know, the Lord has blessed you. And the meaning for this retirement, I know in a prayerful way that our ancestors are going to miss you. They recognize you because you really helped not only our people here, our ancestors. Some of them came back home. That was my greatest enjoyment when certain ones, what you call the Repatriation Act, trying to get our old people back home and make sure that they came to Swinomish. And I know you did a very good job for our ancestors, and they all appreciate you.
When I first got here, want to see you provided me a cultural orientation. And then after my first visit to the smokehouse, and I was chosen as a witness. And I didn't know witnesses had to stay through the whole thing. And I walked out. And the next day, Lorraine got a hold of me and told me how the reality of how it is, and I haven't made that mistake again. But you know, I could go on far too long. There's too many of you here that I know and love, and that I owe a debt to. I thank all of you, and you know, you're probably going to get sick of seeing me because I'll be back.